Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video was a requested one from one of you guys in the community. Thank you so much for this question. So if you are navigating the adoption and immigration process, today's video is going to be just for you. We're diving into the IR-3 and IR-4 visas, what they are, who qualifies, the differences, and what you should consider when choosing between them. Let's start with the basics. IR-3 and IR-4 are both immigrant visas issued to children adopted by U.S. citizens from abroad. They fall under the immediate relative category, meaning there's no wait time for a visa number once the petition is approved. So what's the difference, you may be wondering? Well, the IR-3 is for children whose adoption was finalized in their country of origin and the U.S. citizen parent personally saw the child before or during the adoption process. IR-4 is for children who are coming to the U.S. to be adopted here or when the adoption was completed abroad, but the U.S. parent did not see the child in person before or during the foreign adoption. Now here's where it gets important. The visa type also depends on whether the child is adopted from a Hague Convention country or a non-Hague country. The Hague Adoption Convention is an international treaty that sets ethical and legal standards for international adoptions. If the child is from a Hague country, the process must follow Hague procedures through a U.S. accredited adoption agency. If the child is from a non-Hague country, U.S. immigration laws still applies, but the process can differ, especially in documentation and steps required by the U.S. and the child's home country. Now, in both Hague and non-Hague countries, you'd receive an IR-3 visa if the adoption is finalized abroad and the U.S. citizen parent personally saw the child before or during the adoption. You'd get an IR-4 visa if the adoption isn't finalized abroad or if the parent didn't see the child in person or during the process, even if the adoption was completed in the child's home country. To qualify for either visa, the child must be under 21 and unmarried, be adopted or in the process of being adopted by a U.S. citizen, and meet the definition of an orphan under U.S. immigration law, meaning they have no parents or are only one surviving parent who is unable to care for them. For IR-3, both the legal adoption and in-person interaction must happen before entering the U.S. For IR-4, the child enters the U.S. on a visa and the adoption is completed stateside. Here are a few things to consider if you're deciding between IR-3 and IR-4. IR-3 recipients are automatically U.S. citizens when they enter the U.S. IR-4 recipients do not become citizens until the U.S. adoption is finalized. IR-3 requires you to travel and see the child before or during the adoption process. IR-4 is more flexible on that, but you handle more of the legal process after arriving in the U.S. IR-4s means more legal steps in your home state, including adoption hearings and possibly post-placement evaluations. So if you're looking for a more complete process abroad and want your child to arrive as a U.S. citizen, the IR-3 might be ideal. If your circumstances don't allow for travel or you want to complete the process under U.S. law, IR-4 is a great option. International adoptions can be complex, especially when you're navigating between Hague and non-Hague requirements, plus U.S. immigration law. But you don't have to go it alone. Here are some trusted resources to guide you. USCIS.gov for immigration forms, eligibility, and visa processing information. Visit travel.state.gov, especially the adoption section. It breaks down everything you need to know about Hague versus non-Hague adoption procedures, country-specific alerts, and accredited adoption service providers. An accredited adoption agency is a good source if you're adopting from a Hague Convention country. You're required to go through a Hague accredited agency. They'll help manage legal compliance in both countries. This was just a short overview of the IR-3 and IR-4 visas, but I hope it gave you a solid starting point and answered your main questions. If you're considering international adoption, definitely check out the resources we talked about for more detailed guidance. Those links are in the description. And as always, drop any questions in the comments. I'm here to help however I can. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click the like button, leave comments, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.